Hi everyone, this is Kelly with Kelly and Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in McKinney, Texas, and this is my first card for month of January. This theme for January is going to be Valentine's, because if we're going to make Valentine's, now's the time to do it, not, you know, the third week of um, February. So we're working with our brand new mini catalog. I love this catalog. There's so much good stuff in here, but we're particularly working with this suite. This suite is called Made with Love, and we're going to be making cards with this paper, with the designer series paper. For this particular card, we're using both the stamps and the dies, but this suite is absolutely precious. I love it. So these are the stamps, and here are the dies. We used this die here, and then we are going to be using the stamp. Valentine's Happy Valentine's Day is basically what our stamp's going to be. So let me set these aside and let me show you what our card looks like. I think this is a fun card. It's a fun fold, but it's a little bit different than some of the other fun folds. So I hope you like it. And then the envelope just has hearts on it. So let me show you what you got in your packet from me this month. Of course, you get your envelope, and you would also get some. Oh, there's 4 there. It looks like there's only 2 there. Oh, well, I did such a good job. I didn't cut enough for this one, so we will do some cutting. Let me get some paper out. There's always an adventure when we start doing a video, and that's not a problem to do some cutting, because quite frankly, I pretty much have part of it together already. So here's some of the paper, and I'm just going to show you what I did here. The paper, this designer series paper, is at 1 1/4. Now let me just make sure you can see this in the video. Um, maybe it's better if I push it up here. Yeah, you can see this. See here. So I'm using my trimmer here, and I'm going to put it at 1 1/4, and that, and I'm making it so the X's and O's are horizontal, and I'm going to trim this, and we're going to use both sides of this paper. So we already have 2 that are X's and O's, so now we're just going to make our stripes, and these are 4 inches. And you need a total of 4 pieces for the card, but we're using both sides of the paper. That's really it. And that leaves me with one little one for later. Okay, let me pull that out of the way, and let's come back to what's in your packet. So you should have 4 strips that are at 1 1/4 by 4. We're just going to use the flip side, so we have 2 and 2. Should have a die cut of the heart. You will have a piece of white. This one piece of white is going to be 2 1/4 or 2 1/2. No, it's 2 1/4 by 4. Just making sure. Yep, this is the 2 1/4 by 4. This is 2 1/2 by 4 1/4, and then this one is 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. And then we have one more piece of white, and this white is going to be 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. Okay, so this is the inside of our card. This is going to make the mat and layering on the front of the card. But let me explain something to you on how to get the most out of your paper. The sheet comes at 11 by 8 1/2. And so what I did is I cut my sheet in half, cut off a piece that's 2 1/2. Okay, so that's my middle layer for here. So I'm now using a half a sheet of cardstock. Then I scored it at 1.5 on one side and 1.5 on the other side. And this piece before I scored it is 8.5 by 4.25. So instead of doing like 8.5 off the bottom and then having to come up with the other piece, if you just slice it this way through the whole sheet, cut this off of one end, off the 11, and then do your scores, you end up saving some paper. So that's my tip for this card. But this card is really just a very simple fun fold. And what we're going to do is we're going to layer these together. And you can use, for this, they're about 1/4 of an inch smaller each layer. So you can use your adhesive tape or you can use glue, whichever one you prefer. I'm just going to put them together real fast. And I always flip the white, even though there's nothing on these. I flip them. For whatever reason, I do it. And now, what I also do is when you trim something, you get like a ridge where the paper's got a ridge. I call that my underside at that point. It's not a big to do. Either side works. You're just going to put that on there like that. And then we're going to put this on here. I hope everybody had a wonderful New Year's. It just seems like ages since I've done a video. But we'll get back in the swing of things here. There's so many beautiful things in the catalog. I don't know where to start, but I started with Valentine's. So this is our piece that goes down the middle here. And now I'm going to adhere my designer series paper to the outside of my card. And I'm going to put the stripes in first. Now, if you want the X's and O's on the fronts, you certainly can do that. But I'm doing stripes on the front. Again, this is 1/4 of an inch smaller, so go ahead and give yourself about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. There you go. And let me get this other one here. Okay. And I'm going to put that one down here. Try to make sure I'm in the camera range. Here we go. So now the next thing we have to do is just adhere this on here. It goes in the middle. I'm just going to put adhesive on one side so it flips up. If you choose to have it flip down, that is your choice, but I want mine to flip up. So I'm going to put adhesive here. Now this time I am going to put some glue on, and the reason being is so I can just make sure I can move it if it's not quite in the middle. And I only want a little bit of it. So let's see here. Let's see what we've got going on here. That's looking pretty straight, pretty even. And just be sure you just put glue up in this one spot. I'm just pressing down on it really well. So now comes the inside of my card. Now I will warn you, using the X's and O's, you can put them on upside down. The trick is look at which way the hearts are going so that your hearts look like they are correct. So this would go here like this, and this would go here like this. So let me just adhere those in. We're going to do all our stamping at the end today. It's just going to be easier. There we go. There we go. One. Again, you've got that 1/4 of an inch difference, so you'll have 1/8 of an inch all the way around your designer series paper. My X's and O's, those don't really look upside down either way you put it. It's the hearts. I wanted my hearts to be correct. So let me get this one on. Kind of the I or the barnyard Z, however you want to put it. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to put in our white piece. There's been no stamping up to this part. The hardest part is cutting out the pieces, and that isn't hard at all, especially with your trimmer. So this piece is going to fit in here underneath this. So what I do is I line it up with this when I get ready to put it down. So I'm going to put some adhesive on here. adhesive side here, I'm going to line it up with my designer series paper there. And while it is open, I'm going to just close it if I can keep it from tipping. Okay, and that's pretty straight. Bottom line is you want it to just be covered up by the front piece. Okay, so that's good right there. And let's get to some stamping. Now we're stamping with Real Red, and we're going to be using this heart combination for our envelope. And then we are going to be using these words. Now what I did is I put my words down on my heart first, lined them up to what I thought looked pretty good. Now that happy to me is a little bit wonky donkey, so I'm going to fix it. And that's always good to like double check it before you ink it. So that's looking a little straighter. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go with that. So now I'm using Real Red, and the colors we're using here is this is Bubble Bath. It's not Pretty in Pink, it's Bubble Bath. And then we have Real Red cardstock, and this is Strawberry Slush, one of the in colors. But I'm going to be stamping in red on this one. This really is a pretty fast card. You could do a bunch of these. They look labor intensive when they really are not. Once you have this lined up where you think you want it, you're just going to go straight down, press equally, and then lift up. And if it doesn't come off, take your finger or something and just pop it off like that, and it'll drop down. So that is our Happy Valentine's. And then let's get our envelope looking pretty. No naked envelopes. And you're saying, well, we're having a naked inside. We really aren't, because the inside of the card has got here we go. The inside of the card has got all that designer series paper, and it won't look so naked once we put our bling on it, because what is Valentine's without some bling, right? So we'll put some bling up there. Let me shut this before I wear it, because you know I'm good at that. And I'm going to put this on here. Now, you can pop this up if you would like to have more dimension, but with this, you've got 4 layers right here in the middle, and I really don't want it to get too much higher, because I'm going to put some gemstones on here. So let me go ahead and put this on here. I'm going to just use some glue. I like glue. We're going to go with some glue down the middle. I'm just putting it in the middle of the heart. It's okay. Oh my. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I think that should go. That's looking pretty good to me. And you can see with the glue, I still have time to fudge it a little bit if I want. Just going to hold it there and press real hard and let that just really sink in. And now let's bring in some gems. The gems for this that I'm using today are going to be, they're called Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink Gems. They're online, but they are so pretty. Now, there are some clear ones, and there are some pink, 2 shades of pink. I believe I used clear here and the pink here. So we'll just get our take your pick tool and figure it out. I use this more than I use the other end, because these things don't come off with me. I end up pushing them around the paper, but I can lift up really easy with this. So I'm just going to grab a couple of these and look at my other card, and I think that is what I did. I think I put clear on here because they already look pink because of the clear. So that's where I went with it, and grabbing a little guy for up here in my happy. And then I said, you know, that's not enough. That is just not enough. We need more. More is more. So I used the 2 other pinks. So I'm going to set this down here. I'm going to put one, I think I'll put one right here. That's the light pink, and I'm using 2 sizes. So I'm going to end up with an odd number. Oh, well, yeah, I stuck it to my finger. Well, that is really good. I'll walk around very beautiful the rest of the day. Okay, and then let's get a dark one over here. And I'm going to put a dark one here and a darker one here. So now I have a total of 7 blings on here. And the thing with it is if you fold it like this, these are not going to get caught in the mail so much. And this keeps it pretty low. If I had popped this up, if I'd have, put a dimensional or something under the heart in the middle, I think it would have gotten too thick. And my goal is to make it so you can use just one stamp to mail things. Nowadays, it's a little bit spendy. Spendy. So here you have it. We have our 2 cards. They're not identical, but they are fun. And I hope you enjoyed this and come back for my others. For the month of January, I have 4 cards, and this was card number 1. And I'm just calling this Happy Valentine's Day. Card 1. Thank you again. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.